So guys, we will learn how to make a pop-up model with JavaScript and CSS. So let me show you how this works. So basically, we are just going to we have just a page, okay, with a button here. So if I click on this button is just going to pop up. So once I have this button, I can come here and just close it. So it's a very simple project. You open a button and you close it. So this project, I'm going to be using a very little of JavaScript to do it. Much of CSS and little HTML. So let's get into it and see how this can be done. So I will just resize here. Right. If I come to this my text editor, I'm using VS Code. So if I come here, I'll see that I have a folder called Modal Pop. Under this folder, I have HTML, app.js, and CSS. So I'm going to start for the HTML. Of course, I'm going to take this down. We're going to create a boilerplate of our code. So I'm going to write pop-up box here. Pop-up box. Okay, so what I'm going to do next is to link my CSS. I'm just going to click on link. I'm going to put on style.css. So I'm going to link my JS, of course. I'm going to say scripts. Create a source file, app.js. So basically this is it. So the next thing for me to do is to create the structure of this page. So I'm just going to come here. So to creating the structure, I'm just going to create an input tag. First thing, we need to put an input tag for the button. I want to put a button here because we want a button, not a text. So here I'm going to put a name of button. Okay, so I'm going to put a class of close button, no, open button rather, open, open. I don't want to put a class here. I'm just going to put an ID instead. I'm going to put an ID of open button, yeah, something like this. Now if I save this, okay, I'm going to save it, Ctrl S, and I'm going to open this with live server. So live server is an extension of VS Code that let us what open our code to enable us open our code on a browser, and also enable auto reload. If I see here, I have this box here. These are button, but there's nothing on this button yet. So I'm going to add a value of so I'm going to right click here. So this value is going to determine what is going to be on the button. Click here. If I click save, you see that I'm going to have click here. So the next thing for me to do is to create for this part. Okay, so we need this box now. Let me create the markup for this box. So the first thing I'm going to need, I need a main. Under this main, I need a class. I need a class of main model. I also need an ID of main model. Okay, so inside this I need I need a section just to serve as a wrapper. So I'm going to create this section. I'm going to write under this section. I'm going to create another section called section 1. Okay, under section 1 I'm going to create another section called section 2. Section 2 TWO section 2. Now that is section 2. I'm going to create an H3. I'm going to write modal pop up box. Okay, so I'm going to create a P paragraph. I'll say this is a modal pop up box. So now underneath this one we need underneath this one we need kind of a paragraph. So under this section, so I'm going to create lorem 24. So this is a dummy text. I'm just going to delete the dummy text for this lorem, move some text. So if I kind of save it, if I save it here, okay, and I come to this one, I think I'll have something like this. This is basically what I need here. But if you come here, see that we have a button here, okay, this button. So let's see how we can put that button in. So I'm just going to scroll up here. If you want it to come directly after this one, I'll say span. I'll create a span. Alright, so I'll create a class. Is it a class now? There's a class of close button. No. Close button. And an ID of close button. Close button. Okay. And then write X. So that's basically it. So if I come here, I have something like this. I have this, I also have this. So the second thing I need, actually, I need to style this now. We look at this now. So put it basically all what we need here. So let's jump into the CSS part. So the CSS part, the first thing I'm going to, let's come here. Alright, the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to create this, I'll say box sizing, border box, say font family. Alright, so change the font. So the second thing I'll do, I will target the button because this is the first one you want to do. I'll say input. Alright, and I'm going to put a type of button. Alright, so I'll say background color. I want to put dark cyan. If I save it, I'll do something like that. And next into that, I'm going to put a padding of 1 rem for top and bottom, the top and the bottom. Then left and right should be 2 rem. Yeah, something like this. So that is going to increase. Now if you look at this button, you see that we have a dark border around this thing, okay? So I'm going to remove that. I'm going to say border, just border. I'm going to say none. If I save it, it's going to disappear. And I'm going to say border radius, I'm going to say 5 pixels. Okay, I'm going to save that. So basically this is what I need. So I'm going to change the color to white. If I save it, now I'm going to have that. So next thing I'm going to do is to copy all this stuff. Alright, copy it. Then come here, click over. Then I'm going to say I'm going to cut this one. Just paste it here. So if I think this should be cyan. No, I'm going to change this to cyan actually. I don't want it to be white. Cyan. I'm going to change it to also cyan. To cyan. So if I do something like this, yeah, exactly. Now I want this to have a pointer, cursor of a pointer, cursor of a pointer. So if I save this, it's going to have something like a pointer right here. So basically that's for the button. So the next thing to do is to target this part. So we want to check to target this main class. We are attacking this main motor, okay? This class, we are going to get this class. So I'll say, so we use dot for a class. I'll say main dot model. So I'm gonna say background color. RGBA. Alright, so what I'm going to do here is to put 0, 0. This is for black. I'll say 0.2. Alright, so I'm going to have this color. So I'm going to say width. I'm going to check the width. Okay, let's say 100 view W. Okay, why the height? 100 view height. So I'm going to save this. Let me cancel this. Okay, so the next thing for me to do is to, I'm going to check, I'm going to put a position, the position of fix. So after that I'm going to put I'm going to save this. I'm going to put left. I'm going to put left top of I think top of 0 pixels, left of 0 pixels. Okay, so let's enlarge this and see what we have. Okay, so the next thing for me to do, I'm going to display flex. I'm going to say display flex. Alright, so I'll say justify item or content center, align item center. Okay, so if I save this, this is going to be on the middle. Let's see how this goes. Alright, so basically that's it. Now there are other things we need actually, but I'm going to leave it down here. I'll be back. So the next thing I need for this thing is, if I come here and I check here, we'll see our second section. This is what we need to grab. So I'll come to my CSS, get the class of my section 1, not section 1. So I'll say background color should be white. After that I'll say width 400 pixels, height 400 pixels. That's what we have here. Okay, so let's see if I enlarge this now. Okay, so basically how I needed it. So I'll say border radius 10 pixels. Let's see that. So this is going to give me this round edge corner, which if I come here, you also see it here. Alright, so the next thing for me to do is to add a padding, because now if you look at this text, they are both joining to this edge. I don't want that. We want it to be padding. So I'm going to put a padding of 15 pixels for all round, 15 pixels all round. So they're going to give me something like this. So the next thing for me to do here is to apply a border shadow. So because if we come here, look at how this thing is. So we have like a shadow surrounding this thing at the background. So how do we apply that shadow? So I'm going to come back here and I'll do something like box shadow. Okay, so first one I'm going to put 0. Second I'm going to put a 10 pixels. Second one 10 pixels. Then 0. Then RGBA. Then create something like. Then I'm going to say 0, 0, 0, 0.4. Okay. I think I'm having an error here. So 0.4. Let me enlarge this now. That's what I'm doing. Okay. So I'm going to just end this like this. Okay, so if I come here, you see the shadow. You are going to see the shadow right here. So the next thing for me to do, if you come here now, and yes, that our box has already taken shape of what we need. The next thing for us to do is to target the section 2. So I'll say section 2. No, this is a class, so I'm going to put a class section. Yeah, section 2 this time. First I'll do with section 1. Section 2. So section 2, I'll say background color. I'm going to put dark cyan. Okay, so let me reduce this. I'll see what we are doing. So dark cyan. So the second one we are putting is dark cyan. So what I'm going to do next is to put a color of white. Save. So I'm going to put position actually. I'm going to put absolute. Okay. So then I'm going to put top 0, left 0. If I save it, we are going to see this thing is going to cut this. If I enlarge this now, you see that my box has now moved from this place to this place. It has moved from just this place to this place. So I'm going to fix that. I'm going to come here and just put the width of 100%. We want it to take 100% of its container. So if I say make this bigger, you see that the thing has to take 100% of this box, and I also move it out from here, from this main container. So I want it to be inside this container. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to come here and just this first one. So let's go up and see what we have here. Under this section 1, this section 1 that we have here, so I'm going to come underneath here and apply position also with position. I'm going to put position relative here. So if I save it, you see this box is going to move from here and come here. So we are going to be seeing our button right here. So we'll just see this thing. So the second thing we need to do is that if you look at this first one, see that this place is curved, right? Now we have a straight line, but when we come here, this place is not curved because this box is now blocking that curve that we have there. So how do we do it? So how do we do that? So we're going to fix that. Now to do that, I'm going to be adding border radius. I'll say border radius. I'm going to be putting 10 pixels for the top. I'm going to put another 10 pixels again. If I save this, this is going to make everything temp rounded, but we don't want that. Look at this place is kind of straight, so we don't want these two round box. This one is for the top and bottom, this one is for the left and right, so we don't want that. So I'm going to add just 2 0 here, 2 0 0. Alright, if I save it, this is going to be 0, okay? Or yeah, it's just going to round. So the next thing for us to do if we come here is to add a padding. A padding, yeah. So add a padding. So I'm going to do that. So I'm just going to come here and just add padding of 15 pixels all through. So if I save this, you see I have a 15 pixel padding. So that's that for that. So the next I'm going to do, I'm going to come down here and target my close button. My close button. So let's check what's our close button. Now if we come back to our HTML, you see that I have a close button here. Where is the close button? Yeah, this close button of span, which is this X, which is this one. So I want to target it and just make it come here and also add some little bit of styles to it. So first I'm going to say float left, now left, right, GHT, float right. So if I save this, you should have the button come right here. So the next thing for me to do, I'm going to be putting color. I'm going to put in just slight gray, CCC. So the next thing for me to do is to put font size. I'm going to put 20 pixels. Alright, if I save it, should have at least increased something like this. So what else? That's basically what I need to do there. There's no much thing to do. So what I'm going to do now is to copy this, come here and just paste it. Now one thing you need to understand is that, let me remove this. I'm going to put a color of white. I'm going to put a color of white here. I'm going to change this to over, because when I over this thing, I want it once we over this thing, I want it to have like the white color. So let's just see how it is working. But it doesn't make sense because anytime I over this thing, you see my cursor changing to this eye. There's to select the text. I don't want that. I want it to have something like a cursor pointer, right, to make it look more realistic. So if I save this, you are seeing what I have, exactly what I need, just like so. So now what we need to style this even better, because if we come to this point, if I do this thing, you see how the thing is turning. Okay, so that's a transform property. So we are going to add a transition here. Transition. Okay, so we're going to add transform. Okay, I'm going to put is 0 point. I want to add a delay of 0 0.5, 0.5, 0.25, 0.25, yeah, 0.25 seconds. Okay, so I'm going to come to this transform now. Transform. I'm going to be adding rotate. So the rotate, I'm just going to add 45 degrees. So if I save this like this, you see now it's not moving exactly the way we wanted. So basically that's for the pop-up model. So there's something that we need again. If I come here, see that before we have this text, it's supposed to be here but it's not showing. But if I come here, see that I'm having a text here, but this text is not showing. So how do we do that? Now let's take note of this thing. So you see what is this? This is actually a direct child of this. Okay, so but we have another p element here, so there's something we're going to do. I'm just going to target, let's say section 1. Okay, target the p tag, and I'm going to say end child 2. Target the second one. Okay, I think something like this is okay. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to say margin. Okay, no, not margin top. I'm going to say 150 pixels. Okay, let's see what's going to happen. Alright, so this thing has now come out. So the next I'm going to do, I'm going to say color. So dark cyan. Let's put the dark cyan. Okay, I'm going to say font style. Yeah, I'm going to say italics. If I save this, we'll have something like this. So basically this is it. If I make this bigger, see that our pop-up box is set, and if I come here, this is also set. The same thing, no, nothing changed. Alright, so let me reduce this. But the only thing is that this doesn't function. Nothing is working. Unlike this one, that I can just close it and just come back here. Alright, so there's something also I need to add to this CSS. So I'm going to come to my section 1. I want to add a little bit of animation, so I'm going to write animation name. Alright, I'm going to add fields. So this name, notice that we can add any other thing, anything we want. So I'm going to add duration actually of 4 seconds. I want to fit for just 4 seconds. So 4 seconds is okay. So I'm going to come down here and create a keyframe. I was going to say at keyframe alright. So I'm going to say from I want opacity of 0, opacity of 0 to opacity of 1. Okay, so if I save this now, although you won't see this effect right away, but when we add JavaScript you actually see it. So let me come here. So basically this is it for the CSS. Alright, so there's something I want to do. I want to do something right. Okay. Now I did not call the name actually, so let's see the name I'll put in. Now we are passing the name of Fate. Okay, so we are supposed to put this name here. As I'm having this error here, so I'll come down to my keyframe. Okay, so I'm putting Fate here. I'll say Fate. So if I save it, alright, so now let me show you this so that you not notice it. If I save here, you see that I'm having like some red, I don't know if you are seeing this red line that VS Code is showing me for error. So and if you look at this curly, if you look at this curly braces, you can see some red line underneath. It's showing me for error that there's something missing there. So if I put Fate here, Fate, I see that they're just going to disappear. It means that those things has not been corrected. So that's that for that. So the next thing for me to do is to actually check my JavaScript. So this is all we need for the CSS. Let's check the JavaScript. So the first thing I'm going to do in JavaScript is to actually get the DOM element variables. So I'm going to get the DOM element variable. So the first thing I'm going to do is we're going to set length of the first one we have here has an ID of open button, as you can see. So I'll just type open button, okay, equals to document dot query selector. So since it's an ID, we're going to be using an hash. Open button. Okay, so I'm just going to close it right here. So what I'm going to do now is to save this, and then I'm going to come down and just paste this here. Now before I paste this, I want to check if this thing is actually working. So let's check. Let's enlarge this first and just say Ctrl Shift I for Windows. Let's check our console.log. Okay, so let's check this. I want to come here and just check. I'm going to say console.log. Now the reason I'm console.log, I want to check if this is actually working. Okay, so if I click on this, you see that if I click on this text, you see that I'm touching this. Now what this means is that it has been accepted. This is our button right here. So I'm going to call this open button. Open button. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm not going to copy this. I want to paste this here. I want to call this close button. Okay, so I'm going to call this close button. I'm going to turn this to close button. So if I click on close button here, at least I should have close button now. You see, I've seen this span. I should be able to get this span for close button. Remember that the first one, if I click here, you see that the thing is if I click here, you see as I'm having the browser is selecting this text. Unlike the first one, it was selecting something. So that this one is now also working. So I'm going to come back here and I'm going to copy this one again. This time I want to get not the close button, but I want to get the model pop-up. So I'm going to paste. I'm going to say model. So I want to get our model now. Model box. Is that our model? Our model box. Let us call the model box. Okay, that is this box that is there, the overall box. So I'm going to call this. Let's check what the ID is again. This is it. So main model. Yeah, main model. main model. So I'm going to call this main model. Okay, now this should be also be main model. This should be main model. Notice that this is a variable, so you can name it anything you want. So main model. Okay, so yeah, I have a main model box. So yeah, I should have. I'm going to consider this main model. Let's see if it's working. Main model. Okay, if I save this, I come here, that I'm having my main model here. If I select it, see that the thing is selecting the whole overall page. See it, main model, and a class of main model also. If I toggle this down, actually, I'll see section and other things that are inside the main model box. So the next thing for me to do is to, let's see, let me enlarge this. I'm going to add an event listener to this, because if I come here, right, if I close here, okay, we should be able to click this and click this, just like this one that we have. If I close here now, I click on this, I should be able to click this back again. Alright, so we'll be able to do the same thing to this one, which nothing is working for now. Alright, as you can see. But one thing you need to notice is that this thing is still visible. So there is a way we should be able to hide this thing and pick it and bring it back. So to do that, I'm going to go back to my CSS. Okay, and I'm going to come back to my model box. Yeah, this one. I'm just going to come down and just say, I'm going to say visibility. I'm going to set it to hidden. So if I save it and I come here, see, nothing is happening again. I've set the visibility to hidden. It means that I don't want anything to show. So the next thing for me to do, I'll come to my JavaScript and I'll say, I'll target this open box, this open button, okay, because we want to open something. So I'll say open button dot addEventListener. So I want to listen for a click of a button. Okay, I want to run a function of open model. Okay, open model. I want to open the model. Okay, and open model. Yeah, so that's basically it. So what I'm going to do now is to, let me add a class. Let me add something like open model box comment, so that you can also understand what's going on here. So yeah, I'll create a function. I'm going to create a function here. I'll say function. Okay, open model. Okay, alright, so open model. Now once the model is open, okay, we want to run. So what I'm going to do is now I'm going to target this main model. Okay, also main model dot style dot visibility equals to hidden. No, equals to visible, not visible, not hidden. Visible. So if I save it, now I'll say open box. I'll say, yeah, I need the, yeah, I'm going to just put open model box function, so I will remember it. So if I come here now, I click here, see this box just pop up. If I click here, nothing's happened. If I load it, it will refresh again. If I click here, this thing pops up again. If I click here, nothing happens. So we want to work on this particular button now. So let's go back to VS Code. Now what I need to do now is to copy this. copy this and just paste it here. I'll say close. I'll close model box. Yeah, I'll just turn this to close. Yeah, I'll turn this to open. I'll turn this to close as well. So if I save this, okay, model, what is this? Okay, I'll copy this and I'll paste this down here. So I'll yes open, close model function. Okay, close model function. So yeah, I'll kind of yeah, I'll just write close model function here. Okay, if I save this, yeah, I'm going to write hidden. Now let me explain what is going on here. So this is our first function. Okay, once you click this, okay, this is going to run, this is going to run. Okay, so once you click this one, this is going to run. As simple as that. So what I'm going to do now is just open it and see what happens. I click here, this is open. If I click here, this is going to go away. Click here, go away. Click here, and then click here. So it's a very basic tutorial. So this is exactly where I'm going to stop. So I'm going to keep this thing for you so that I can download it on my Telegram channel, which is free. So I'm going to leave a link in the description below so I check everything. So this is basically it. This is all of what we are going to do today. So feel free to like. Share, and subscribe to this channel. Drop anything else you want me to talk about, and I'll see you on my next video.